Okay guys, so we'll start for today. So this is the third class. We had two classes in like last day and the day before. So those classes we discussed about the architecture. We just discussed this picture only. We have not moved ahead because of doubts and other things. So we completed this, but not 100 percentage. We just completed like how data is loaded from the source systems into the landing tables and landing to the staging. What is the concept of cleansing, standardization, enrichment, validation? What's delta detection? What's raw? What's reject? Why do we need a raw? And what's a manual reject? What's a automatic reject? And trust, validation, and the base object, how data is loaded. And I told you yesterday, and again I'm repeating, the reason is it is important that you understand the consolidation indicator flag. Consolidation indicator is a system column, is a system flag. When you initially load the records, the consolidation indicator will be 4. That is 4 means new. Okay, so new means the duplicates will be there. So let's say there are 3 instances of John Smith from 3 source systems. Then initially all the 3 instances will be loaded as it is. Okay, that is duplicates will be loaded as it is. Later the deduplication process will run. Dedup process, what it will do is it will change the status from 4 to 3. That means queued for match, and then it will change to 2, that is queued for merge. Okay, and then it is 1 means master record, and queued for merge means here matching is over. Matching is over. Okay, I'm repeating the same thing again what I told you yesterday, because it's very important that you understand this flag. If you understand this flag completely, then you can, I mean, the architecture of Informatica MDM, you are never going to forget. Okay, you can easily track the architecture using this thing. So queued for match means just before the matching process starts, the consolidation indicator status will be changed from 4 to 3. Who will change that? When you start the job, okay, when you start the tokenization, the match job, then this automatically changes to 3. When it is 2, uh, matching is over. See here, matching is yet to start. So matching has not started yet, so it is yet to start. Here matching is over, and here both match and merge are over. So here both match and merge are over, and the duplicate instances of the customer are merged to create the unique version of the truth. So that's the concept. Okay, now let's track that in the diagram. In the diagram here, initially the consolidation indicator will be 4. Later it will change to 3 when it is queued for matching, and then once it is queued for matching, then the actual matching will happen. Once the matching happens, then the system identifies the duplicates, and then there are 2 options. Basically it can either go for auto merge or manual merge. So what is an auto merge and what's a manual merge? The auto merge, see, auto merge is something, if let's say John and John K, let's say these are 2 customers and the system identifies that these 2 are same. Now you have 2 options. Either you could auto merge them or you could manual merge them. Auto merge means when you run the job, automatically that is merged. Okay, automatically who merges it? The system, the software does it for you. The software will merge these records. But what's a manual merge then? Manual merge means, let's say there can be 2 cases. When you try to match a customer, there can be 2 cases. First case is you're sure that both are same. You're sure that both these 2 records, both records are same. Okay, then you go for an auto merge. But let's say if you're not sure, that these 2 records are actually same or not, there is some doubt. You have a doubt that they could be the same, or they could be different as well. You feel like they could be same, but you're not 100% sure that they are exactly same. So what you do is, so in these cases you would have to refer to the specialist. The specialist is called as data steward. Okay, data steward. Data steward is a role in Informatica MDM. Okay, there are many types of roles that are there. Data steward, administrator, there's a merge and merge specialist, there's a developer, there's an IDT developer. Okay, I'll tell you later. So basically the data steward is a person who is expert on data. Steward means in English that means expert. Okay, and data steward means expert in data. So basically data steward is someone who has complete knowledge on the data. So he has complete functional knowledge. No, I'm not talking about technical knowledge, I'm talking about functional knowledge. He has complete functional knowledge on the data. So if you show him these two records, John and John K, then he can tell you actually, by doing a small comparison, he can tell you that these two customers are actually same or not. So he has many things, like he has other his weapons, or you can say his different strategies, different methods through which he identifies this thing. So what happens here? Here in the first case, the records are automatically merged. That is, this step to this step, the records will be automatically merged. Here the records will go to review. The data steward, it will never be merged automatically in manual merge. It will go for review. Once the data steward reviews the customers, okay, and he feels that yes, they are the same, then what he will do is he will use this merge manager tool, okay, or in IDD to merge the customers manually. Okay, so that's the difference between a auto merge and manual merge. And once we are done, either it could be auto merge or manual merge, in both of the cases the master record is created. That is, the merge is something that happens between here. Okay, so from when it changes from 2 to 1, basically the merge happens, either auto or manual merge. So once the merge is done, okay, so here trust comes into picture. Yesterday I talked about trust. So trust will come into picture, because trust, based on the trust scores and all that, it will be decided who will be the survivor and who will be the victim. Okay, for example, I'll just show you uh, from a project how, one second, let me see quickly if I can. Okay. Okay, so for example, for every source system, let's say this is a table, and for this table, for every source system, for let's say this source system, this will be the trust scores. Okay, and let's say for this source system, BDD, let's say this will be the trust. And if you see any other source system, let's say this, then you can see the trust is reduced, that is 30. Okay, so based on this trust, the victim,
Hey Sunil, we can't really see anything.
you cannot see anything.
Right now it came up, I think.
Okay, I think this is,
I think it's just 3 to 4 second delay, Sunil. Yeah.
there's a slight delay. Okay, fine. I'll speak a bit slowly. Normally, there should not be delay. I think today it is occurring. Sometimes it does happen with this GoToMeeting, but that's it. Okay, we'll see if still there is delay. Then I would have to rejoin probably. Let's try to continue. If there is delay, then please inform me. Okay, so that I'll try to rejoin. But okay. So when after this we are done with the master data, that is, we have created the unique version of the truth. Okay, and once you create the unique version of the truth, then we are almost done. Not completely done, but we are almost done. Then what is left? What is left is just try to understand why are we creating master data. We are creating a master data not to do any reporting, or not to check and answer some questions. Okay, that's not the purpose of master data. Master data is basically created, the main purpose of master data is to send this master data and the cross reference. Okay, the master data with the cross reference, you need to send this information to consumers, or you can say third party applications, subscribers. okay, or consumers. To these people you need to send the data, okay. And basically you will learn later, you will see that the target systems are actually the source systems. For example, let's say the prepaid database was the postpaid database, and the internet database was our source systems. You will also see that normally the source systems will also be interested in getting the master data. They are interested in supplying data to the master system, as well as they are interested in getting the data from the master data solution, okay. So you will see that they are both source as well as they are target systems, okay. So that's the concept. And there could be other systems, like there could be data warehouses, because see, normally the biggest consumer of in master data management is the data warehouse, because data warehouse, it's a very critical application, and a lot of calculations, lot of revenue, everything is done in the data warehouse. And it's important that the data warehouse has access to a master data management, okay, to a master data. If not, what will happen is things will be calculated incorrectly. So let's say there are two customers, Amazon and Amazon Private Limited, and a data warehouse cannot, if let's say a data warehouse does not have a master data, it will not recognize these two as same customer. It will say that these two are different customers, and the revenues, commissions, agent details, all these things will be calculated separately. That will result to that will give wrong results. And you will see that there are CRM applications. There will be, you will see that once you initially start in master data project, MDM project, you will see that initially there will be very less subscribers. That is, it will start with the data warehouse, the CRM solution, and there will be some other teams, okay. But when gradually down the line, let's say after 1 year or 2 year after the implementation is done, when your MDM is stabilized, then you will see that almost every IT team in your organization will take data from your system, because everyone is interested in master data. The reason why some people do not take it, because they think that your master data is not perfect, okay. If that is the case, you need to fine tune your master data to make sure that everyone in your organization is taking that data. That way you make sure that the funding for your MDM project is always on. I mean, there is no crisis of funding, because see, when you run a project, it's important that it is properly funded by your business, or you can say the client. And that will only happen if you have many downstream applications, and if these downstream applications are happy, then your client is also happy. That's how it works, okay. Now we'll move ahead to this architecture. This is also the same thing. There isn't any difference. This one was in a detailed manner, and this one is the same manner. I'll just tell you few things. I'll just talk about the interface in details. So this operational systems and third-party data, okay, these are nothing but our source systems, operational data, systems and third-party data. And these are our target systems: data marts, data warehouses, these portals, BI, CRM applications, performance management. Literally almost every system that you have, every IT team is a downstream application to you, okay. So how does it work, how the interface works, how this source system will communicate with this MDM? Okay, I already told you that it will be basically through ETL. Okay, now I'll put more light on this. So basically there are two modes of communication. One is a real-time mode, another one is a batch mode. Okay, basically two things. One is a batch mode. I think all of you know what is batch mode. Batch mode is something, let's say today 10,000 customer details have changed, 10,000 customer details. So what you do is you take all those 10,000 customers at the end of the business, and you process all those 10,000 records at a single shot. So let's say 10K records. After business hours you process it. So let's say Sunil, there's a record called as Sunil, okay, and let's say the Sunil record gets changed to Sunil K. Okay, let's say Sunil gets changed to Sunil K, and let's say this change happens at 11 a.m. IST. Let's say this change happens at 11 a.m. IST. In the batch mode, what will happen is you would have to wait. You are not going to send this change to the MDM. What will happen is you will wait till after business hours. After business hours means typically 9 p.m. or depends upon the company, 9 somewhere between 7 to 9 p.m. That's called as after business hours. So normally you process all the records after the business hours. Okay, that's called as the batch mode. But real-time mode means if the, let's say if the change happened at 11 a.m. IST, then within 10-15 seconds, within 10-15 seconds, depends upon, normally it will be 10 seconds, normally 10 seconds to 2 minutes. Okay, within 10 seconds to 2 minutes, this communication, this change should be communicated to your target system. That is, in this case, this is our source and this MDM is our target. So if there is any change in the name from Sunil to Sunil K, that should be communicated to MDM in real time. Okay, so see, normally the concept is real time. There are two things, real time and near real time. There is no concept of real time in non-transactional systems. Okay, so real time means it is real means, see, let's say you go to a bank, you go to an ATM machine, you swipe your machine, okay, and parallelly you open your laptop and you try to check your bank account. You will see that immediately, I mean immediately means immediately, as soon as you withdraw the money, the change is reflected. That is called as real time. Okay, but we do not need that critical thing. What we need is near real time. So near real time means within 10-15 minutes. Okay, within 10-15 minutes, the changes what was done in the source system should be reflected into the target. So basically the interface here, the inbound interface, I would say the inbound, and this is the outbound interface. The inbound interface could be real time. I mean, if you have the ability to tackle with real time, Informatica does support real time, so that depends upon you. But I have never seen full real time. I've always seen near real time, because that's the best, near real time. Because we do not need real time in MDM also, because MDM is a critical application, but it's not that critical. I mean, it's not like a transaction system where immediately you need things. So near real time is more than enough. Okay, so ESB means enterprise service bus, EAI enterprise application interface, MOM message oriented middleware. All these three things are just, they are the methods, or you can say they are the algorithms that enable real-time integration. That's the logic. And ETL is something that enables the, what you say, batch mode. But using an ETL, you could also implement what you say, real time. For example, in Informatica, you will see that there is a concept of web service hub. Okay, using this concept, you can also implement real-time thing using Power Center or something. Okay, so that's fine. But I mean, that depends what you want to implement. But normally ETL, when we speak about ETL, we are talking about batch mode. Does real-time integration follow the same path as the batch process? No, they do not follow the same path as batch process. The real-time integration is done via SIF, Services Integration Framework, that you will learn later. Okay, the real-time integration uses this technology, Services Integration Framework, SIF. But the batch mode, they never use SIF. Okay, they use it, whatever architecture I told you, right? This architecture was for batch. For real-time mode, I mean, the architecture could be of two types. Directly, you could insert data. That's one thing. And if you want to follow this, you can follow this, but these tables will not be used. I mean, these landing tables, what you have created, the staging tables, what you have created, these tables will not be used, but the mapping will be used. There are two operations. There is an operation called as put. It's SIF API used to insert record directly. There's a cleanse put. That's another SIF API. Okay, so if you use cleanse put, then it will try to simulate this scenario. Okay, and if it is normal put, then it will directly insert the record. It will not do any validation, cleansing, delta detection, all that. Okay, so I hope that question is answered. Okay, now let's go back. Now near real time uses the same path as Yeah, SIF is covered, but not now, because to understand SIF you must know um, this is the planning. These are all advanced topics, okay, that will be covered in the last week. The reason is to know all this, especially to know SIF, IDD, user exit. Especially you should know everything from here to here. At least you should know till here. Till this you should know, then only you can understand these topics. Hierarchy especially, that's, to understand hierarchy you should have knowledge on most of the topics. Okay, now let's try to complete this. Everything is just a repetition of that, so I'm not repeating that architecture again. Okay, so you can go through this document. The cleanse, enrichment, it's not nothing but the mapping that we talked about. Match is match, link or merge. Remember, there's no concept of linking now. Linking has been demoted. Okay, there's no concept of linking. I'll tell you what linking is. As of now, whatever I told you, that is called as merging. Merging means two records, there is a John Smith, there is a John K. Smith, so finally one record survives. That's called as merge. Linking is something where both the records will survive, but they will be virtually linked with each other. That's the concept of linking. But because of performance reasons and many other reasons, you learn that when you create the base object, you will see that this option has been demoted from version 10 onwards. Okay, so this is not used anymore. And relate, all that you are going to learn later. So this is the same thing. Now we'll try to understand how Informatica is a three-tiered architecture. Okay, so just 1 second. And regarding the software, I already told you that you will be getting access via the VPN. Okay, that you can configure. I mean, some of you have already configured. So anyway, like tomorrow, I'll tell you how you need to configure the VPN access. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Now let's try to understand the how Informatica. First of all, Informatica MDM is a three. See guys, first of all, I am covering all the theoretical part in the beginning. Okay, for today will be the last, probably the last class for theory. After that, we'll jump ahead to the tool. Okay, and we'll try to explore these options. What's all this? What are all those? And mostly we'll be spending the time in the lab. And probably what you, if you want theory and all that, what you do is these are different PPTs. Okay, you go through all of these PPTs. I'll also be going through them whenever it is needed, but if I just go through this PPT, then I just want to show you practicals, not just, I mean, go through this PPT and tell you that this is C repo system and all that. But you I'll tell you, like, before starting the class, I'll tell you what PPT you need to go through and from which page number to which page number you must complete. Okay, now let's try to complete this. First of all, let's try to complete this process. Okay, so MDM architecture, see, again, this is MDM architecture, but the thing here is we'll try to understand how things are designed here, how it is done on an admin level. So on an admin level, basically Informatica is called as a three-tiered architecture. Okay, it's basically three-tier architecture. What are the three tiers? The lowest, or the below the, what is the first tier is the database tier, that is also called as the hub store. Okay, this is the database tier, that's the hub store, and this is the second tier. Okay, and this is the third tier, or the topmost top tier. Okay, that is the hub console. Now let's try to understand this one by one. Okay, you must understand this hub store properly. Even if you do not understand these two, that's fine, but you must understand what's a hub store. Hub store is the database layer. When I say database layer, everything we are talking about here is stored in a database, and in our case, or in most of the cases, you will see that Oracle is the most widely used database. Now let's 1 second. Okay, so you will see that Oracle, see, basically three databases are supported as of now. Only three databases. Okay, Oracle and IBM DB2. Okay, and you have SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, and most widely used is Oracle. That's used in more than 70% implementations, and the second widely used is IBM DB2 and SQL Server. SQL Server is a recent addition. I mean, initially only these two were supported, and recently since last 3 years or so, 2-3 years, they've started supporting this. So basically we'll assume that it is Oracle in order to simplify things. Okay, now let's try to understand what's this database layer. So when you log in, for example, let's say I'll show you. So let's say I log in into this tool. When I log in into this tool, you will see that it is asking me to choose a database. So first of all, just try to understand that there you can see that there are many types of databases, but you can see one is a special database and remaining are, they look identical. Okay, but this is special because you can see something like CMX is written here, CMX. Okay, and here there is no special symbol like CMX or something. So basically when we talk about databases, in databases we have two types of things. One is the master database and another one is the ORS, the operational reference store. Okay, so you have a master database and the ORS, operational reference store. And first of all, master database, you could have only one master database. So you can easily identify that thing from the diagram, that as well as from here you can easily identify that you are having only one master database. So that's the restriction. The restriction is, just try to understand, you will have only one master database, and you could have more than one, or you can, I would say, more than zero ORS databases. Why I have mentioned zero? Zero means, see, first of all, when you initially install this product, you will see that only a master database is mandatory. This ORSS needs to be created later. After the installation is done, you need to create this ORS. But initially, you will see that only the master database will be created. What if you try to install the product without creating a master database? You cannot install Informatica MDM without creating a master database. So first, master database is mandatory. And basically what master database contains? Master database contains all admin stuff. All admin stuff means user details. Okay, ORS, I mean other ORSs. For example, you have one master database and you have this remaining ORS databases. Okay, all you have this many ORS database. So this master database tracks these ORSs. So basically ORSs details, okay, and authorization, and it's basically it's master of these databases. You can easily understand it in this way, that it's basically an admin database and it is basically used to master these databases. And for you as a developer, master database is not important. Not important in the sense you do not need to worry about master database, although we'll cover everything about master database, but most of your focus should be on the ORS. Now what's an ORS? ORS is the database. See, when I say database means it's basically a user in the database. I mean, it's basically, if you see this, let's say this ORS underscore class lab, you will see that this is a user in Oracle. I'll just show you. For example, let's say ORS underscore sample. So you see that ORS sample is a user, and if I log in here and if I say select asterisk from tab, just 1 second guys. Okay, sorry. So you can see all these tables. So this is the table that I created, and these tables, the tables that start with the repos, for example, where tname, like, for those people who have worked with Power Center applications, they can easily understand this. I mean, because, and for those who have not worked with Power Center, they can also understand that it's not a big deal. The thing is, everything, just try to understand everything that you do here in this tool. This is a thin client tool. Everything that you do, for example, if I connect here and I try to, let's say I go here and I create something, you see everything that you do here is actually stored in this ORS database. And where it is stored in these tables. They are called the system tables. And how many system tables you have? The system table starts with C underscore repos, and these system tables are inside these ORSs. And what do they store? They store all your configurations. Everything that you do in the tool is stored in these tables. Okay, and the interesting thing here is, in this architecture, whatever we talked about, the landing table, the staging table, the base object, the auto match merge, everything that you see in front of you, that all configuration is stored in an ORS. For example, if you see here, I'll just quickly show you. For example, if you see here in this ORS, that is ORS underscore sample, you just observe how many tables are there. There's a account table, there's a party table, and all that. But if I change the login, let's say if I log into let's say party, you see there are different tables now. Okay, and if I log in, let's say to class lab, you see there's again a different set of table. So every ORS is a separate environment. Okay, now let's try to understand why is there a concept of multiple ORS. First, I'll tell you why there are multiple ORSs here. Then I'll tell you why there are multiple ORSs in my environment. Okay, the first thing is multiple ORSs. The concept of multiple ORSs. First of all, normally in a live project environment, you are not going to have more than one ORSs. Normally you will have one master database and you are going to have one ORS system. Okay, but let's talk about what's the meaning of creating more than one ORS. More than one ORS is for multi-domain edition. Multi-domain edition, that's operational reference store. That's the full form of ORS. Okay, and the you can also get the details from here. Here also the architecture is covered. Okay, here it talks. You can see the master database. If you see this picture, let me. Okay, so you can see here this schema that you see here. Schema is nothing but the master database, and this ORS schema is the ORS database. For you as a developer, your responsibility is to create base object, staging tables, landing tables, create the mappings, match and merge configuration. For all of these things, you must be you should have logged in into the ORS database. If you have logged in into the system database, that's a master database or the system schema, you cannot do any of the development activity. Okay, so you can go through this later. Okay, whatever was there I've already told you. Okay, I think there's some slight lag. Okay, I'll go a bit slow. So why do we create multiple ORS? Multiple ORS, the reason for creating multiple ORS is basically to, if you need multi-domain. Multi-domain means more than one domains. I'll just show you. See, more than one domain in a single configuration. Let's say it's very simple. Let's say your organization, let's say you're working for a company like Cisco. Okay, so Cisco has many products. Okay, so Cisco has networking products. They have many types of products. They basically sell products. They sell services. Okay, so basically let's say they have many customers. So initially when they want to implement MDM, they would like to go with customer domain. They would like to go with a customer domain. Later, at some point of time, let's say if they want to also have a product domain. I mean, see, I'm talking about customer domain means an MDM solution for customer. That is, it will contain customer details, name, all that. And when I say product domain, basically it's all about storing the products. That is the product name, the product ID, product description, and all that. So basically if you want more than one domain, then you can create multiple ORS. That's the first option. Okay, And the second option is one ORS could be used for development, another ORS could be used for testing, and another ORS could be used for UAT. And definitely the production ORS will be a separate installation, okay, because normally the production ORS no one would like to have it in the same as dev, test and UAT. This could be a scenario, okay, and this could be a scenario. For both of these cases uh, you could use that, okay, and also you can configure this more than one domain in the single ORS also. You can do that, okay, that's also an option. For example, if you see here, you can see here that there are two data domains. I mean, there are two domains here. The party domain is nothing but the customer domain, and there's a product domain. So you can see there are two domains. There's a party domain and there's a product domain. Two domains are there in this single ORS. If you want, you can create one domain in each ORS, as you can see in this diagram. Okay, in the diagram, there's a customer ORS, there's a product ORS, there's a location ORS. So customer ORS is something that stores the customer data model, customer data. Product ORS that stores the product information, and location ORS stores the location details. That's the concept. Okay, that covers the lowest layer. That's the database layer. Okay, now let's talk about the middle layer. That's the what you can see in front of you. That's the hub server. Some people call it as MRM, HM, AM, cleanse match server. MRM, HM, AM are old conventions. The full form for MRM is master reference manager. AM is hierarchy manager, which is still there. Okay, and AM has been merged into this MRM only. So basically, you will learn later what's the difference between. I mean, there are basically two things. One is MRM and another one is hierarchy manager. For hierarchy manager, you need separate license. Okay, I mean, hierarchy manager is a special I mean, you can see hierarchy in the tool. That will be there, the hierarchy manager and all that. You can see here the hierarchies are there, the hierarchy manager and hierarchies. But if you do not have a valid license, you will not be able to use that. Okay, so basically, what's a hub server? Hub server is the most important thing that actually runs everything. I mean, the tool that you are seeing in front of you, you're able to access this tool. The only reason is because of the hub server. If the hub server is down, you will not be able to do anything. Basically, your application is down. When the hub server is down, the application is down. So there's something different about hub server, that is, to install a hub server is typically installed on an application server. Okay, a hub server, it's not an independent installation. It means in order to install a hub server, you must have installed some application server, and Informatica by default as of now supports only 3 application servers. JBoss from Red Hat. This is complete admin, so you don't need to worry about that, but yes, you need to understand how things work out. WebLogic from Oracle, that's another application server, and this is WebSphere from IBM. This is another application server. So basically 3 application servers you have. This is the most widely used, JBoss. After that, this is used, and WebSphere is used but not that much. Okay, basically what I'm trying to say is you must have installed either JBoss or WebLogic or WebSphere. After the installation of application server is done, then you need to install this hub server on the top of this application server as a service. That is why the installation process is quite complex for Informatica MDM, because it involves many layers. If for people who have worked in Power Center, the application server comes with the product, so you do not have to install it separately. But for this product, it is separate, and there are a lot of errors you will get when you try to integrate that piece of software, that's the hub server, with the application server. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, this is how things are there, and basically there are two things. There's a hub server. both needs to be installed. See, this hub server as well as this cleanse match server, both needs to be installed on the application server. Now what's a hub server and what's a cleanse match server? Cleanse match server, see, we are in version 10. Okay, we are in version 10. You can see in version 10 there are a lot of changes. For example, you would see that this is called as process server. Previously what was called as a cleanse match server has been renamed to process server, but the functionality still remains the same. There's no change in the functionality. Okay, so that's the cleanse match server. What's a cleanse match server? For people who have worked in Power Center, this is the repository service and this is the integration service. And for people who have not worked in Power Center, basically this is something you need this to develop the code. Hub server, this should be up to develop the code. But if you want to run the code, for example, the mapping we talked about, if you want to create the mapping, this is the server that should be up. And if you want to run it, this should be up. Let's say if this is down, this cleanse match server is down, you can still create components, but you will not be able to run them. That's the difference. Yeah, they have to be on the same application server, all these three things. Okay, but the application server could be at different locations and all that. You could create multiple cleanse match servers also, that's fine, but they have to be on the same application server. I mean, the type of the server and the type of the database cannot change. Okay, for example, one ORS if you can create in Oracle, let's say if you want to create another ORS in DB2, that's not going to work. We'll learn more about this ORS. Okay, and the reason why I have created multiple ORSs is because this is a training environment. I have classroom training, I have online training, and I have these two are basically for reference system. This is a fully loaded ORS sample is a fully loaded system with data. I mean, you have thousands of data that already it's there. Okay, so basically it's for a reference, and if you want to run and use the data, you can also do that. So this is the data model. You will see that when you join a project, you will not find you will see that the data model that is used in your company will not be bigger than this. Okay, normally the data model that is used in companies will consist of 10-15 tables, or at most, if it's quite big, let's say very large implementation, it will consist of 50 tables at max. Okay, not more than that. It's not like data warehouses where you have thousands and thousands of tables. That's not the case with MDM. That's why learning MDM, and most important thing is not about learning, it's about choosing a career. When you choose MDM as a career, it's quite different in the sense your life will be a bit relaxed. The reason is, all you need to do is you just need to master 15-20 tables. If you master 15-20 tables, that's your day-to-day activity. Okay, in a data warehouse, every day you need to have knowledge on, let's say if you work as a SME in a data warehouse, you should have knowledge on at least 300-400 tables, views. Okay, your materialized views, all that. That's complicated, but this is simple. Okay, this is very simple. Now that's about the second thing. I already told you, you need to remember the name of these three things. Okay, if someone asks you in an interview what's the application server you're using, you can either say JBoss or WebLogic or WebSphere. The most widely used is JBoss, second widely is WebLogic, and less used is WebSphere. Sorry, this is Sphere. Okay, now let's talk about the top layer. The top layer is the Informatica MDM console. The Informatica MDM console is nothing but this tool that we are going to learn tomorrow in details. Tomorrow the topic will be, we are going to learn all these options one by one. Most of the options we are going to learn in details. Okay, there I'll tell you more about this tool, but that's one tool and there's another tool. So the interesting information here is basically there are two tools here. In MDM you do not have 1000 tools. Okay, if you go to Power Center, you will see there are 4 tools, plus there's an admin tool. If you go to data stage, there are again many tools. Go to ab initio, there are many tools. But the specialty of this product is there are basically 2 tools, and mostly as a developer you'll be working with this tool. 90% of your time will be on this tool, MDM Hub Console. If you master this tool, you can even work comfortably, you can work as an architect as well. Okay, so this is very important. And there's a separate tool. First is Hub Console, sorry, MDM Hub Console. That's the first tool. And the second tool is the IDD, Informatica Data Director, that you will learn later what's an IDD, because to understand IDD you must have mastered this. If you have not mastered this, you will not understand anything in IDD. So Informatica, the full form is, as of now you must remember the names, okay, because if you go through these last three classes properly, then you can answer 50% or you can say at least 40 to 70% of interview comfortably. Okay, you can start even attending interviews, because they'll basically ask you about the architecture, and if you have explained the architecture the way I told you, then I mean it will be great. Okay, so these are the two tools. I'll talk about this tool tomorrow. Okay, and this tool will be covered later. And what else? I think we are done with the architecture. I'll just conclude that. Again, let's talk about the architecture in this term. Landing, there is, you can see before landing, it's not there in the picture, but basically you have source systems that you use an ETL to extract data from source systems into the landing table. This is the landing, and then you have put it into the staging table, then you load it, tokenize. Now you see this new term, tokenize. As of now, just forget this, just think that tokenize is part of matching. Okay, because I will need one full class to tell you what is tokenization. This cannot be I mean I cannot tell you this in 1 or 2 days, but 1-2 minutes, but just understand that that's a part of matching. And consolidate, this looks like a new term, but consolidation is nothing but merging. Okay, and once consolidation is done, master data is created, and then finally you publish the data to the downstream applications. So that's about the architecture. We are done with the architecture. This should have been completed, the introduction and architecture, in 2 classes, but because of doubts and all that, this took long time. But anyway, it's important, it's not important how many days we complete this, but it's important that you understand things properly. So yeah, so we'll complete these things today. Like we'll conclude, we'll call it off for today. So we have some 10 minutes. If you have any doubts, you unmute, you speak, you ask the doubts, and after you're done, you just mute. Okay, one by one, you can go ahead. Okay.
Hi, Sunil.
Yes, sir.
This is regarding the data model. So I've seen some of the MDM data model, which is very denormalized to help with the match and merge process, and some in normalized form. So which would you recommend?
That completely depends upon project to project. Okay, I mean depends upon the requirement, how you are using things. Normalization, denormalization, normally a normalized model is preferred. Okay, because most of the changes will happen to one table, and to reduce the redundancy and all that. Okay, mostly a normalized is preferred, but if it's a small organization and the data volume is not that much, you can also go with a denormalized model. But that depends upon the requirement. See, if the requirement is complex, you cannot meet the requirement with a denormalized model. That's not possible. Okay, if the
Okay.
requirement, for example, I'll show you for this project. This is a very big implementation. Okay, Eli Lilly. I think you might have heard of this client. This is
Yep.
Eli Lilly. Okay, so this is a very big MDM implementation. This is a very old MDM implementation also. I mean, uh,
I cannot see the screen yet.
the data model for this is completely normalized, and it's quite big as compared to normal data model. It's quite big. Okay, it's there in some document. I'll show you later. Okay,
Mhm.
but this is quite big. It's completely normalized because the requirement is quite complex. They have many different types of requirement, and I've seen things. I've also seen normalized data models, but if the data volume and the requirement is less, for example, I'll just show you 1 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me check this. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah, you can see here. This is a very big
I
implementation. The
cannot
reason
see
is,
that
yeah,
yet.
it is getting loaded. I
Okay.
mean, see,
Okay.
entity. has contact, addresses. Normally most of the people will just go with contact and addresses. Okay, they will not complicate things, but you can see this implementation, it has contact, addresses, credential, channel consent, facility, identifier, communication, all that. So if you see the data model, I'll try to, it's there in the document, but I don't remember which one. I'll show you the data model for that. That's quite normalized and it's quite big. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yep.
yeah, any more questions anyone has?
Sunil.
Sunil, quick question. Now, which stage we do this data modeling? I understand we have like landing, staging, loading, everything, right? Which stage we
Data.
create and
Base object.
which part it will
When we
go?
talk about data model, we are talking about base objects. There's no data model for a landing table or staging table. So when we talk about data modeling, we are talking about base objects.
Hey,
Yes,
Sunil.
Sunil, this is Ankit here. For the certification, like, I mean, I might have missed one of the classes. Certification, what is the process? I mean,
The certification process, I have already provided you this term. You can use this term. It contains around 300 questions. You can use this for certification. I mean, I don't know the pattern because in person recently, I don't know if they have changed the pattern, but the questions will be like this and most of the questions will be common. And if you're asking how the certification is there, basically it's of two types. One is development, one is admin, only two types. So
okay.
yeah, so normally you would go with the development. And I don't think it's even much expensive also. You can go ahead.
Okay, and I don't see, I mean, all these documents are shared already?
All this document with some people with who have confirmed enrollments, I have shared them. Okay, and for some people I have not shared them, which I'll share once the enrollment is confirmed. Okay, so there are many documents. There's a certification term, there's a interview guide, there's a lab guide. There are many documents which I mean there are PPT guides, there are books, I mean not books basically, I mean reference guides. So these are all from different sources and many types of documents are there which I'll share with you. Okay.
Hey, Sunil, this is Satish. Quick question, right? We have cleanse and enrich in mapping, right? Where is dedupe happening? For that.
Dedupe happens after, see, this is cleansing from landing to stage and stage to base object. This is base object, it's one-on-one load. So deduplication, when we talk of deduplication, it's after this. Okay, so this after this we have the deduplication.
So where I'm confused is the moment we load it, we have 4 there, and we have queue for matching 3 there.
So it
right?
starts with here.
Where exactly this 4 to 3 is happening? I mean, we'll know it when we do that.
4 to 3 happens when you start the match job. For example, if you go here, if you just start the match job, then it will change the status to 3. These are many types of jobs. So if you just, let's say if I run this job, then it will change the status from 4 to 3 and then 3 to 2 and 2 to 1.
Okay, and the second question would be the operational store, right? So in general, we put a software and we buy it. So Informatica, and we usually have a database also, the team owns, and that you use for staging, right? So operational for multi-domain setup, one ORS, we can have even multiple domains, right? What I'm asking is typical environment. Where would this multiple database for multiple ORS come into picture?
Normally, that's what I told you, that normally when you work for a company, you will see one master database, one ORS database. The only reason why someone would create more is for more environment. For example, one could be for development, one could be for testing, one could be for UAT.
Okay, but we can still put multiple domains in there, right? There is nothing from the tool.
You can create multiple domains in a single ORS. I mean, I just showed you that there's a product and a customer domain in a single ORS. That is one option. You can also create multiple domains in multiple ORSs. That is another one option. Depends upon the architecture. I mean, see, the only reason why you would want to create multiple domains in a single ORS is if you want to relate the domains. For example, if you see here, in here, the two domains, this is the party domain, that's a customer domain, and the right hand side, that's a product domain. You can see they are joined using the party to product relationship. So basically, if you want to relate two domains, then you have to create in a single ORS. If you do not want any relation between two domains, you create them in a separate ORSs.
Okay, and thanks for yesterday's example. But looking back to that video, I have some questions. Maybe if it's not right place, we can get back to it later. But I was wondering why put all this trust and everything. Say I'm lazy. I'm just throwing out an example there. I put 100 on every other source that comes in, right? Let MDM handle out, fight it together. I want to
Yeah,
put
no,
trust on
but
every
how
100.
will MDM know which one is the best source of truth? There is a CQR
How will
system.
MDM know now?
There's a
Say for
MLO.
example, three
There's
records
a
come with trust.
Yeah. See, there's three sources, and there's MLO, there's CQR, there's MCCS. So how, if you do not tell which system is more trustworthy for which column, how will the system know?
Okay. Let me ask you another question then. How will it know today? Even it can come out with the same trust even today, right? Even if I put 60, 70 and it's depreciate, I mean, not depreciating, I'm not using the right word, but it can come down to 30, 30, 30 on each of them even today, right?
Yeah, it can come down based, it can degrade, the trust can degrade, and that it can come down, that's fine. That depends upon the configuration. If you want to degrade, it will degrade. If you disable degrading, it will not degrade.
But that still leaves it with the question that we have three sources here, three records with same trust. So how will we handle it? I know, I mean,
Yeah, if the
you
trust is
have
same,
practical experience. I was just
yeah,
thinking through,
let's say if the trust is 90, if the trust is 90, if the trust is 90, what will happen is the records with the latest last update date will be the survivor. Let's say this is coming on 19, this is coming on 20, and this is coming on 30th. Then this will be the survivor. If
Okay.
that's only the case if the trust is same.
Okay. So we kind of use MDM in our client, but we don't use this specific tool. So I was just asking more on those
Yeah,
lines.
see this.
And
I'll tell you about this. If you have worked with other MDM tools, and if you're trying to compare other MDM tool with Informatica MDM, this is a special option with MDM tool. I mean, this kind of freedom of configuring trust at a such lower level is only provided by Informatica. I worked with multiple MDM tools. There are this kind of feature. When I show this feature to other people like Siebel MDM guys, they get surprised that you have that much control over the data.
So basically, Pawan, this is what if all the three come at the same day? So the auto merge will push it into the manual position where the data stewards will have to handle that situation. Some of these records go into that area.
right, that's what I was
Yeah,
guessing it would
manual
be.
merge will be dependent upon the rule. Okay, so if it
Yeah, that's what. See, if all the three come at the same date, let's suppose timestamp you ignore and come all with the same
yeah,
trust
then
and the same
yeah, that's
day,
another method.
which one it will do
If it
that
comes
merge?
on the same day, like exact timestamp, let's say if the timestamp is exactly same, there are other methods of eliminating. For example, based on the row ID object, whichever is having the largest row ID object, that will be picked. But normally that's not practical. That doesn't happen. The two have the same day maybe, but the timestamp will always be slightly different. But if it does happen, it will be based on the row ID underscore object. That's the primary key for the tables.
And next question would be, we talked a bit about profiling yesterday, right? So is it the tool you're talking about? Because I mean, I'm part of data warehouse, but we never do something like a profiling. What do we exactly meant
Profiling
in?
is very important. I don't know. I mean, for data warehouses, it's not mandatory. It's optional. Okay, but for MDM, profiling is mandatory. There's a separate team. There's a separate role called as data profiler who needs to do the profiling, and I cannot explain profiling in 1-2 minutes because I have to finish the class. But yeah, you remind me tomorrow, probably not even tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll try to cover all this. So you just make it a point. When I go through the architecture here, anyway I have noticed it. Here I have put it down, the profiling. Yeah, data profiling. So I'll tell you in details what's the meaning of data profiling and how important data profiling is. It's very important. That's all I can say as of now.
Okay. And one quick question, Sunil. We can't say that for the process, no matter what, it goes by the what do you call, the weightage or whatever we are doing, I kind of lost the word there. We can't say don't ever replace my data with nulls. We can't say that, right?
Don't ever replace my data with null. If you want that, if you don't want that, there is a configuration, allow nulls. There's an allow null option that you will learn later after 2-3 classes. If you click on that, then nulls will replace. If you do not do that, nulls will normally not replace valid values.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Because what I'm saying is, say a customer has a Gmail ID or something today.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
for
understood
some
your
weird
question.
reason, okay.
I
Thanks.
understood your question. Basically, we are talking about this option. Anyway, I'm just showing that. We'll learn about that later. That is this apply null values. Okay. So if you do this, then the null values will override. If you do not select this, the null values will never override valid values. That's the meaning. Okay. And I'll tell you when you need that and when you do not need that. Okay guys, then we'll finish it off for today. We'll meet tomorrow same time. Okay, and as explained, you note down all your doubts, and we'll start with the doubt session tomorrow, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you have any doubts, you go ahead and ask me. Otherwise, I'll straight away start the session.
Quick question, Sunil. Any reading stuff? Just to
Yeah, sorry.
reiterate.
Yeah, just 1 second. Yeah, correct. You reminded me. You open this Informatica MDM training deck part 1 from page 1. You should be you should be able to understand till 1 second. Yeah, till this, from page 1 to 10, you should you should be able to understand. And from, as an exercise, you try to study from page number 10 till page number 18. From 10 to 18, try to complete from 1 to 18. Okay, try to complete these pages. If you have any doubts in the PPT, I'll also go through the PPT slightly. The reason is to track things, but this PPT self-explanatory. I hope, this is very easy. Okay, anyway, I'll also go through them so that we keep a track of things what we do. Okay,
Sunil, can you send these documents to me also?
Yeah, I'll send them.
I too did not receive it.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
Venkat, I'll send them.
Okay,
guys.
my email address I'm typing here.
Yeah, Sunil, also the recording. I would like to go through these concepts again.
Yeah, you will get it. Okay. Okay, guys. Then
Thank you.
we'll finish it off today. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye.